Hello, Falcons. So, Darius needs to find the length of a square given its area. The side length is squared, not cubed for area. Keep that in mind. So, they set up a thing area is s squared, right? Because area is length times width, and both of those things are s. So, that gives us s squared. Our area is 25. Now, again, I know some of you are like, Ms. Sherman, all you got to do is the square root of 25. But what I'm noticing, right, is we can do that here, but then we may not remember what that looks like kind of going forward. So if you take the square root of both sides, yes, you do get 5. And this side just gets you s. What I tell people is if I do 3 squared, right? 3 squared is 9, correct? All right. Then if I take the square root of 9, I get what? 3. So the square root of 3 squared is just the plain number 3. The square root of s squared is just s. So keeping that same sort of thought process, Kyle has a large cube-shaped terrarium for his iguana. He wants to cover the opening with a square screen. What are the dimensions s for the screen? So this, right, is the volume. We want to know what one side is. We want to know what one side is, and you cannot see that. Let me get a highlighter that so you can see it. Ugh. We want to know what that is, right? So we know that its length times width times height gives us our volume. We also know, just like in the other one, right? The length, the width, and the height are all the same thing. So S, and S gives us S cubed. We know that the volume is 343. And just like up in the first one, right? To undo the square root, to undo the square, we take the square root. To undo the cube, we take the cube root. So if you look back at your chart or anything like that, you would see that that gave us 7. So then it says, does it say what is one side length? He wants to cover the opening with a square screen. So that is this, right? What are the dimensions of the screen? So what are the dimensions? Dimensions would be 7 by 7, and obviously this would be feet because our original shape was feet. Okay? Now, one that gets a little bit tricky is maybe say we have something like this, right? We would take the square root, and you would either get 50, the square root of 50, or we could also say if we rounded that to say the nearest tenth, 7.071. 7 makes that round up, so 7.1. Okay? So just a little bit of reminder today. That's all we're doing.